Kogi Central. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much, every one of you, for joining me. Let me know where you're joining from. I'm really excited to have you guys join me today. Thank you so much. Write in the comment section. Let me know where you're joining from. Today, I will be interviewing Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, the senator representing Kogi Central. And I am so excited that she's joining me in the studio today. We would not waste any time at all. We would start. I just want to give it a few seconds for more people to join me. Also, let me know if you can hear me well. If you have any trouble hearing me, let me know. And then I would invite her into the studio. If you have any questions for the senator, please put it in the comment section. I do not know yet whether I'll be able to let people into the studio to ask questions physically, depending on how much time we have, but at least you can put in the comment section. However, give it some time because I will start out asking her some questions. So you don't have to start typing your questions yet, so you don't feel like, how come I'm not picking your questions? So, but later on, when I say that it's time to ask questions, then you'll be able to ask your questions. As you guys are aware, she's been in the news a lot. There are so many topics that we are hoping to cover today with the senator with us in the studio. So without further ado, let me invite her into the studio. Senator Natasha, thank you so much for joining me in the studio. It's good to see you.
Thank you, Adeola, and thank you, Nigerians, for your support and prayers. Adeola, I must say that I think you actually got sent, and if you ever found the reason for journalism, this is it. You have opened your platform against all odds to give clarity to the situations at hand, and the last 3 interviews you did that were quite expository. I mean, they kind of paved a path towards this chaos that I found myself in. So thank you so much, and I hope today goes well.
I'm just doing my job. You're welcome. Also, I believe we have like 1,000 people watching now from different platforms. But I want us to get started because, like I said, Madam Senator, I have so many questions for you. Now, a lot of people watching this, I'm hoping that we would cover your suspension, we would cover the outbursts at the Senate, whatever you're allowed to talk about, because I know that the case is in court. Also, I would love for us to cover the issue of Sandra Duru, and I would love for us to cover the fact that you now have a federal lawsuit against you, and so many other issues. But just to give you a background of some of the things that I'm hoping to cover today, and hopefully you indulge us with your time.
Yes,
So, a lot of people watching this, people have been saying so many things since everything started with the whole drama started. So many people are saying, well, the senator and Senator Akpabio, they were friends, they were close. There are pictures of you going out with the Senate president to like functions together, like his birthday party. There were videos of you at his birthday party. There were pictures of you together with him, which some Nigerians are calling the good times. And so we can't help but wonder what happened, what went wrong. How did what led to the sit outburst, I should say, at the Senate?
thank you, Adeola. Indeed, before now, the Senate president and my husband were very good friends, and that accorded us a chance to attend to each other's social functions. And beyond that, also, I'm a senator, so he's my, should I say, boss? Well, even though we're colleagues. So in the course of work, there are times where I'll have to attend, events, and definitely pictures were taken, and then we have seen all of that on social media. But what I'd like to say is, beyond the pictures, behind the cameras, there's a whole lot that went wrong. And they've been going wrong since, I think, a month of me being in the Senate, which, like I did say, it started on the eve of his birthday in the year 2023. And that snowballed into a lot of unpleasant situations in the Senate there, a lot of which I tend to present before either the courts or the ethics committee or a panel that will be set up to investigate the matters of sexual harassment, which till today I've not been given a chance to tender my evidences. But let us talk about the issue that to many they think is just Natasha being stubborn and refusing to move her seat. If anyone takes or pays a close attention to that video, you will know that there is so much more than meets the eye. It was, I think, the peak of the many shoves that I had received in the Senate. And I told myself, never again, not anymore. And to those who think that it was my outbursts that led pretty much to my suspension or my outburst was unruly, I would like Nigerians to know that the outburst was a reaction to the Senate president telling me, telling the sergeant at arms to walk me out and calling on my suspension, which I want people to know that it was premeditated. Maybe if you could play a recap of that so we could have our minds freshened up a bit on what happened on that day, which was the 20th of February. Your audio is on mute.
I do have a video from that day, so I'm going to play it, and then hopefully you can, speak to that.
Order, please.
Distinguished Chief Whip of the Senate, your point of order is sustained.
Order, please.
Nice to speak from there. That is the order of the Senate.
Sir, order 10 on privileges.
Natasha,
Any senator may rise at any time
can the
to
Sergeant
speak
at Arms
upon a matter of
please
privilege suddenly
take her out of the
arising,
Senate?
and he shall be prepared to move without
Okay.
notice.
Okay.
A motion declaring that the content of breach of
Show me
privilege
the
has
station
been
that allows suspension immediately.
Yeah, so Adeola, you can see.
I just had the Senate
Yes,
president.
thank you.
talk
Yeah,
about
that's it. So you can see all I was doing at this point was reading my rights as a senator, invoking the order of privilege, which I have it here, which it says that whenever, that's chapter 4, item 9b, whenever a matter of privilege arises, it shall be taken up immediately. All the Senate president need to do at that point was allow me speak and give me a chance to explain why I do not want to change my seat, or why I would say, okay, I was not notified about the change of seat, or why I would prefer to retain that seat. He didn't allow me to complete my reading the order. All he said was, Sergeant at Arms, take her out. Clerk, prepare for her suspension. Now, any discerning mind will know that there was so much more than meets the eye on that day. That means behind there was already tension between us, or there was already unspoken situation, a crisis, however you want to say, that people would think what it was probably Natasha refusing to move the seat. But no, the Senate president does not have the unilateral powers to suspend the senator right there. And at that point, I had not done anything wrong that warrants him ordering that I should be kicked out as if I was his domestic staff, or I was someone below him, or asking that they should prepare for my suspension immediately as if I was his employee and he was going to suspend me. That was it. So it was when I heard this, because apparently he didn't know that his microphone was on when he said they should prepare for my suspension. But I heard that, and that was my response, that I'm not afraid of you. You have done your worst. I've been silenced on the floor. I mean, if you watch the whole, I don't want to repeat that, but that was when my outburst was a reaction to what he already had done. And to think that I was further suspended, as they say, because of my outburst or because I refused to move my seat, it doesn't really tally. Yeah, but I believe that my suspension was largely because I voiced out the sexual harassment, because the suspension came a day after I tendered my petitions. And if you want to ask further, maybe people want to know a little bit about how it feels or how it felt like working with him. Mind you, this is my own, like I always say, whatever I put out are my own views, my own perception based on how he treated me or how he related with me. I'll just give one incident. And 3 months into me being the chairperson of the Committee on Local Content, we're in his office. Usually I tend to avail myself to, attend some meetings. Maybe he's receiving guests, ambassadors, or dignitaries from agencies or stuff. So I usually attend the meetings. So at one of those gatherings, he then went, Senator Uduaghan, you haven't reported progress. And I was like, reported progress? He said, yes, that I'm supposed to report progress. So I said, okay, give me a few days, I'll report progress. He said, fine. So I went later on, made a PowerPoint presentation of my activities as the chair then, the meetings we've held, the timeline of events, the action plans. And then I went back to him and I was like, okay, sir, I'm ready to tender my progress report. And then he went, okay, where is it? And then I opened my laptop and I was like, okay, this is it. And he laughed. And I was like, oh, why are you laughing, sir? He said, don't I know the meaning of reporting progress? And I said, I thought it's to give you a feedback on my activities so far. And then he now referred me to a senior senator. He said, why don't you go meet this person and let him educate you on what report progress means. So I went to meet the senator and I was like, sir, I usually respect anyone who knows me will know that I respect my colleagues, even though I respect my seniors, even though we're colleagues. So I went, sir, I was told to approach you so you'll guide me on what reporting progress meant. And he laughed. He was like, it means I should give kickbacks to him. I was like, what do you mean kickbacks? He said money, projects, other perks. And I was like, how do you mean I need to return? He said, well, as a chairman of committee, and I'm saying this is me. I don't know if this happens to other as a chairman, but if anyone is courageous enough, they could probably speak. So it's more like the Senate president tasking the chairman of all the committees that periodically they're supposed to bring money to him or jobs. And I went, how am I supposed to make money and report to the Senate president? And he said, well, I have to harass the agencies or the ministers that report to me. And for me, since I was chairperson local content, that means I have the Minister of Petroleum. I have also the Minister of Gas, who is the co-chair, who was made later on the co-chairman of the board. Then I also have the Executive Secretary, Engineer Felix. So that means I'm supposed to harass them for returns, to periodically give money to the Senate president or jobs. And I was like, I can't do that. And they were like, well, that's the norm under him. So I had to. So I later on went to the Senate president. I was like, sir, I understand what report progress means, but unfortunately, I can't do that. I also told my husband that. I was like, wow, so it means it's more like you extort or harass so that you can pacify or parley the Senate president in order to keep your position. So I didn't do that. And he later, a number of times, he was like, Natasha, if you don't know how to harass the chairman, that means you don't, if you don't know how to harass the ministers, that and the executive secretary of local content, that means you're not capable of running the committee. So that means to the Senate President Akpabio, deliverables are not tied to objectivity and performance. It's more like what returns come to him. And I know a number of times he has told me to invite to bring the chairman, the executive secretary over to him, but I refused. Till date, I never forced or coerced any of the ministers to meet with him. If they met the Senate president and parleyed on their own, I don't know about that, but on me. So that's just to give you an idea of the coercion that happens behind the scene that people don't know. And when people think of, budget padding, that many people do blame the senators. I don't know about it. I've never padded budget, but I've seen the unnecessary pressure that a number of senators have to face, not because they were willing to do it for themselves, but because they have to satisfy some political lords right in the Senate there. So that's just one example of the pressure and what it means to, and let me say this again. Yesterday, I saw a video of a senator, Senator Sani Musa, who was asked to define, what's it called, harmonization. harmonize. The word ham, I don't know if you saw it, was trending. And I will say this, Senator Sani Musa is one of the most intelligent senators right there. But I say what I saw there was just the Senate president putting him on the spot. And as a human being, so sometimes when, like, it was unintentional to me, it's an intentional act to ridicule him. And that's how the Senate president acts sometimes. He just calls on you and makes a joke, makes a remark, and he thinks you should laugh at that remark, because that's happened to me a number of times. Either he objectifies my body, how I look, how I act, how I'm talking, and most of the time it's always sexualized. And that is what people should know, that as a boss, he's not supposed to do that, because we're all colleagues and we all have to be respected. So
Senator,
that's just one part of it, what it means like to work with him.
okay, thank you so much. Looking at the time, it's no longer on our side. And like I said at the beginning, I want us to cover in all of it. You just made some serious allegations, by the way, which because I don't want you getting another lawsuit because you came on my show, but you've just made some serious allegations again about the Senate president.
Reporting progress, that's it. He always asks several times, listen, he said, if any senator wants to be honest, they'll say the chairman committee. He's asked me a number of times, report progress, and he's threatening to remove me as a chair. And let me say this, I should have probably sent you after the groundbreaking ceremony of the 5 mini LNG plants. That was what actually, like I said, there was a sexual harassment part, but then it got to a point whereby if Natasha is going to succeed, she has to succeed under my wings. She can't just be thriving. She won Senator of the Year. She did a fantastic 1-year celebration, all of this, while my success should be connected to his own approvals as someone who is involved with him. That's how he wanted it to be. So on the 30th of January, after the groundbreaking ceremony, I was removed as a chairperson 4 days after that. He actually called my colleague, who is the chairman committee on gas, Senator Jarigbe. I have his text messages. I hope it doesn't contravene anything, because I would love to screenshot it and show Nigerians.
Okay, so while you're
message. So that message proves that there was some harassment, sort of like trying to find out why who approved the 5 LNG plants in Kogi, and how come he wasn't taken in the know of it. Not only did he question Senator Jarigbe, Senator Akpabio also called the Minister of Gas and the Executive Secretary Local Content. I questioned them as to how those gas plants ended up in Kogi State without his knowledge. And I will say this, he actually told some people, but I'm not going to mention their names, that he believed I was settled mightily for that. And I say this to Nigerians, I never got a kobo for that from that gas plant. In short, it's just an honor that those 5 LNG plants are situated in Kogi State, in my senatorial district, upon the approval of the president himself. And that actually is part of the gasification of the northern part of Nigeria. So, I mean, if we're one country, then we should support each other. Each region should support each other's strength. So let me send you this screenshot, please. It's very important to see this.
I want you to be able to express yourself, but also keep in mind there's so many topics that we would love to cover. Now, a lot of Nigerians...
I've sent you, so we can round this part up, I've sent you Senator Jarigbe's message to me that morning, the morning I was removed as chair of the committee. You could tell from his tone that the leadership of the National Assembly were questioning the citation of the plants in Kogi. You can put the text up there. Senator Jarigbe, I'm so sorry I have to do this.
Okay, so would this be implicate Senator Jarigbe in any way?
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. Okay. I don't think he's a nice person. And the truth is, he too wasn't aware of it. He only got to know about the gas plant a few days before the groundbreaking. Like I told you, it was an executive order from the president. And also, one thing is, anyway.
Okay, let's take it one at a time. Don't forget, I have only asked one question, and like I said, I have a million questions. I can already see in the section, people have a lot of questions for you. Now, a lot of Nigerians have also been saying that, of course, now your suspension has been since March.
This is the 84th day. We're 84 days into my suspension.
It's been
84 days that my entire senatorial district have been denied representation. And 84 days since, I would say, a quarter of Nigerian women. If Nigerian women are a population of about 100 million and we have 4 female senators, so that means I could, on a ratio of 1 to 25 million people, so 25 million people that would have benefited from my voice, who as a woman have also been silenced.
So I'm very sure that
Okay.
I'm very sure you would have seen this a lot on social media, especially, and some Nigerians that are saying things like, "This is not the first time that you are accusing somebody of sexual harassment. Are you the only one? You've accused this person." Actually, your colleague Senator Nwambui also said this on Arise News. I'm going to play the video. I really want you to address that because is it true that you've been accusing several people of sexual harassment? And then we will come to, was there sexual harassment? Did they actually happen? That's one of the things that a lot of people have been asking about, as well as what about your evidence? When will you make it public? Things like that. So let me start out by playing the video of Senator Nwambui.
Is that this is a complete falsehood. This is an attempt to discredit the Senate president. And this is not the first time. Just give me some time. This is not the first time this woman is doing this. This is a woman that have accused Bellow of sexual harassment. This is the same woman that have accused the. I'm coming. Allow me to flow.
Probably disprove.
Allow me to flow.
Okay.
This is the same woman that accused Reno Mokri, the former media aide to Jonathan, of sexual harassment. This is a woman I saw in a video yesterday accusing a minister of sexual harassment. Are you the only woman in Nigeria, Senator Natasha? Right. What is wrong with you?
Ooh, your mic.
But Senator Nwambui.
Okay, do you want to talk
Yes,
about the
thank you
people
so
saying
much,
that
Adeola, for this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me thank you so much for this. I would say this categorically. I have never accused any other person of sexual harassment apart from Senator Akpabio. I never accused Yahaya Bellow of sexual harassment. And I never accused Reno Omokri of sexual harassment. I don't know if you have that screenshot of the text message that I sent.
Okay.
That was the text message that started the whole thing. And I think this is, if Nigerians can go back to the post, it was like, this is my response to one of his posts on Facebook in the year 2019 or 2020. And I said, hey, it was a conversation whereby he was attacking one of my wards, a girl who felt really bad. And then she was being dragged. So I went there and I made this statement, like, I understand how boring and bitter life must be for you away in the US on asylum. No more access to your numerous iPhone 2 girlfriends, most of whom you got into show P through your office as an SA to the president, to President Goodluck Jonathan. Weren't you married then? I rejected your silly advances in 2014 at the Villa's Banquet Hall during President Uhuru Kenyatta's reciprocated visit. I gave you a fake name and a fake phone number, but so it just pretty much ended after that. So if anyone can actually go to the post, you'll be able to extract the full one. I will appreciate it. So here it is. That is the only time. I mean, that does not amount to sexual harassment. What I said is, we were at an event and he walked to me, being friendly, asked for my number, asked for my name. I gave him a fake name, a fake number. So we never got in touch because it was fake name and fake number. So the bone of contention at that point was that he said he wasn't in the country, that it wasn't him I saw. There must have been somebody else. But I insisted that no, I saw you, and that was what transpired. And then that's how the whole thing ended. He put up pictures of his passport with a stamp, and he also presented a ticket which proves that he wasn't in the country at that time. But I was like, you know what? We know how people get the stamps. Sometimes people like, you know what? I'm not trying to implicate the immigration, but there's what they call the Uluwole passport and all of this stuff. So I was like, I can sit here and get my travel agent to generate 5 tickets to different countries, and that doesn't mean I really travel. So it was more like, was he the one I saw at the villa? Wasn't he the one I saw at the villa? Did he travel? Was he in the country? It was never sexual harassment. I never accused Reno Mokri of sexual harassment ever. So I was actually surprised when an incident that happened years back, where it was not reported as sexual harassment, suddenly became a sexual harassment matter, like him adding the voice to it. I'm surprised. And on the minister, where he said, I spoke. I remember it was on the floor. One senator, Senator Fashuisi from Ekiti State, Cyril, Senator Cyril made a statement that, I actually accused his former governor, His Excellency Fayehun, of sexual harassment. I never did, and I'm so glad that he actually came up to clear the air that I never accused him. So I didn't accuse Bellow. We never had any relationship whatsoever that was in that line. It was more political, him antagonizing my election in 2019 and then 2023. So the Senate President Godswill Akpabio is the first Nigerian man that I'm actually coming up to speak against sexual harassment. But that does not mean, let me say this, that does not mean that I've not been sexually harassed by others in the past, right, from my university days, because sexual harassment happens so rampantly to many Nigerian women. I can bet you if Nigerian women are to do Me Too, we will probably see a ratio of about 80% of Nigerian women, and people don't really understand what sexual harassment is. They think that it's like rape. Do you understand? It could happen like wrong gestures. It could be denial of rights or dues just because the woman has not given in. There are people who make passes at me, and I just joke about, like, please excuse me, I'm married, and have you seen my husband? Flat tummy, dark, handsome, please, you can't match him, and it ends there. So there are times when we just make a joke, Natasha, but you're fine, I want to say, excuse me, please, so look at your pot belly, where would you put this body? We just joke about it and it ends there. Do you understand? But when a person makes advances at you and he doesn't take no for an answer, probably because he feels it massages the ego or whatever, and then it now begins to inhibit into your work or turns to malice, that now becomes harassment when the person doesn't take your no for an answer. So that's what it is. And of course, like I said, I've subjected myself. Indeed, I saw issues, statements on the news about the presidential panel being set up. Yes, I was contacted, I think it's the first week of April or so.
Rhino said you paid him. Did you pay
Who
Rhino
paid him?
money?
I didn't pay him. I didn't pay him nothing. I don't know what he's talking about. He should bring proof. I didn't pay Reno nothing. No, he said my husband paid him. That was what he said. And I asked my husband. My husband said, no, he never did. So he should bring proof of that. You can't just come up and say, I accuse you. Yes, I think as a matter of fact, I should maybe, if this continues, then I will have to take action whereby he would then have to present proof of where I accuse him of sexual harassment and where such payments were made. Because you can't just wake up one morning and begin to attack, lie against me just because you want to favor the party in power, which I respect his views. The fact that he has shifted from antagonizing the president to being one of the great supporters, that's fine. That's the beauty of politics, I think. We're all at liberty to make our choices. But I think it's really wrong when you want to please someone, then you go overboard just to attack me or manipulate whatever happened. And on the like I said, there was a presidential committee panel set up. I was approached, that was early April or so, and asked if I'll be willing to submit myself to the panel to investigate. I was like, of course. They made me understand that it's going to be a panel made up of APC members, and I was like, of course, as long as it will be objective and fair. The fact that I'm PDP in the opposition doesn't really matter. The fact all that matters for me is that I'll be given a chance to tender my evidences and my complaints. And they said, okay. So I was told to recommend somebody, which I did. But later on, I was told that the Senate President pulled out of it, and that's fine. But one more thing, again, that I've seen people questioned, why did I just speak up? Why didn't I speak up? Something that happened over a year ago. Let me tell you this. Speaking up on sexual harassment is one of the most difficult things anyone can do. And many women actually go to their graves with that. Many men lived with their wives without knowing that their wives are being sexually harassed at workplaces or because they're scared of being judged. And right now we keep seeing a lot of men complain that the DNAs go wrong, that the children their wives birthed are not theirs. But the men should sit back and wonder, why do they think some of these things go wrong? They sleep with their wives go to the office, and for any promotion, her boss sleeps with her. So along this line, babies will be born who do not belong to their husbands because the woman is not given a fair chance to speak of whatever disadvantage disadvantages she's faced, and somehow sexual harassment has become a norm in Nigeria. It's almost like, do you know, there were actually women that approached me and said, Natasha, you are slacking. The number 3 citizen was making pass at you and you didn't take advantage of that. So, but then the question is, the thing there is, I didn't speak up because I want any monetary remuneration or I want some reward. There's pretty much nothing the Senate president would do for me that God has not blessed me with. I thank God I am already a self-made woman, and then my husband is comfortable enough to take care of my needs. Mind you, I told you that the Senate president and my husband were friends, and my husband really played a pivotal role in supporting him to become a senator in the first place and even become a Senate president. It's no hidden news. So what else? I didn't speak up because I want Senator Akpabio to settle me out of money. I just wanted to tell my story and let him give me a chance to work, because the environment was already toxic. For the past 7 months before my suspension, I stopped eating in the cafeteria. Senators would testify. Like normally, I don't like eating breakfast in the morning, so I look forward to eating after sessions. We have a canteen where all the senators go. Well, most senators go, and it's free lunch. So I usually join my colleagues to eat then. And after eating, about 2-3 p.m., I'll go to work, to my office, and stay there till 5-6 p.m. But since the environment became uncomfortable, I stopped going to the cafeteria. So that means every morning I will only eat at evening time when I get back home. So I was still hungry just because I was avoiding being in the same space with him, because he could just utter words and everybody there will laugh without thinking of how it will affect me, or he'll make statements and all that. So yeah, I didn't speak up because I wanted any settlement. I didn't want any money out of it. And neither was I seeking him to be arrested or anything. I mean, ordinarily in a sense of society, people who harass women should be punished. But I mean, Nigeria, I don't think we have gotten our institutions or societal orders have matured to that level. But I just wanted him to give me space to work, because I was harassed almost continuously at that point.
Okay, so I need to round up that last question based on the tape and some of the things that Reno Mokuri said. Thank you for addressing some of that. Also, there has been allegations by Senator Nwabwe that...
Oh, and one more thing. I don't have 6 children for 6 men, like he said. No, I have just 4 biological children. And I know I forgot that part. I don't know why he didn't play it. It's somewhere in the video where he said, I have 6 children, I have 6 men. And even if I have 6 children for 6 men, I don't have 6 children. I have 4 biological children, but in total, with my stepkids, we're all 8 children in total. So, but even if I have 6 children for 6 men, that does not invalidate the fact that if I speak of sexual harassment, it should not be investigated. And that does not make me a bad person.
So one of the things that he also said was that you sued your husband, you forced him to marry you. Was that all made up, or did you...
That's all made up. That's all made up. I didn't coerce my husband. We're actually in court on that. As a matter of fact, he was avoiding service. So 2 days ago, or yesterday, the court granted the substitute order permit. So I believe it's on the papers now, and it could be pasted in his office or at the gates of the National Assembly that he's served, so that he will attend to the case, the charges there. I didn't harass, I didn't coerce my husband. My husband is such an amazing person. I mean, Adeola, he's an amazing person. He's been my strength through these challenging times, even throughout my elections. I actually pray that more women in politics, which are most women in Nigeria, will be lucky enough to have a man as supportive as my husband, you know. Okay. Yeah.
So you've sort of answered my next question stylishly. I was just going to ask, okay, was there sexual harassment? Did it actually happen? And more importantly, people have been asking, where is your evidence? When will you make your evidence public? Can you speak about that?
Sexual harassment did happen a number of times. And yes, I do have my evidence, and I will tender the evidence at the appropriate place. Like I did say, I thought the Committee on Ethics and Privileges would be the first place for me to tender my evidence, but that did not happen. And then I thought also the presidential panel will be another place, but that also did not happen. So the next opportunity that I have to tender my evidence, which I also have witnesses.
So they didn't let you tender your evidence at the
I was never
panel?
called upon to speak. No, that was never called upon. I wasn't, never. I was never called anywhere. There's never been an inquiry into that where I was called to tender my case.
Okay. So we're running out of time. Like I said, I really want to take questions from people, and we have not even gotten to Sandra Duru's drama. But actually, let's go into Sandra Duru's drama. But I just want to say real quick, though, that you do have a number of petitions against the Senate President, against Yaya Bellow, against Onwemboyi also, and against Sandra Duru. Has any of your petitions been addressed?
Thanks, Adeola. As a matter of fact, I have all the petitions listed, 12 of them in total. The first petition on March 11th, second March 25th, then March 31st, then April 4th, April 24th, April 28th, April 29th, May 2nd, May 6th, May 15th, May 19th, May 19th. Had several petitions written to all the security agencies. And unfortunately, there's been no investigation. And these petitions are all interwoven from threat to life, withdrawal of my security, assassination attempts. That when Sandra Duru made the live video on the 1st of May, I did write my first petition against her on the 6th of May. I think I did send you a copy. And then after the interview where Frances and Obina spoke up, we then had to make another interview because we could then see that there was a connection with the Senate President. So we now wrote another one against Sandra Duru and the Senate President. That was on the 15th of May. And unfortunately, none of these petitions have been investigated. And but when my lawyers went public with this, with the cause that there is bias in the investigation, in the activities of the police. That was 4 days ago. When my lawyers went public with that, surprisingly, yesterday my lawyer told me that they received a letter of notice of investigation from the Inspector General of Police's monitoring unit. Just yesterday, my lawyer told me. So, and the question I have in mind now is...
This was the one against Senator Peter Onyekachi-Onwemboyi.
Yeah, but when they didn't respond, so we went to court.
And this was the one against Sandra Duru.
Yes,
right?
This was on the 6th of May. If you see 6th of May, just right after her, where I mentioned that all those things she said, that I called Nigerian gullible and hungry. I offered to pay her 200 million to blackmail Akpabio, that I said I'm there to destroy the Yoruba government. I listed everything, that's all false and they should investigate. Nothing happened on that. What is this one? This was 4th of April. The plot to assassinate me. Yes, I did write this. Before I even went to, I wrote a petition before I even made an appearance on Shewa Kimbaloy's show. If you watch that video, if you watch the interview on Shewa Kimbaloy's, I did make reference that it is considerable threat to my life, and that
and then this one is against the president. So has any of this, petitions been addressed?
No, not one of them. Not one of them. But like I said, if you can, there's one other document I sent to you. The one that was, no, not that one.
Okay. Which document?
Let me highlight it. Sorry.
And what does the document say? That now they would address the petitions?
Yes, yes. This I've just highlighted this.
Okay. Awesome. I do have that. Okay, so what does the document say while I'm...
So that document just notifies me that they want to commence investigation. And this was just after my lawyers went public, that my numerous petitions we're not receiving attention, and instead is the response, is the only petition the Senate President and Akpabio wrote against me, that I'm defaming them by crying out of the assassination, that's what the case the federal government initiated against me. So it's more like I came out, I wrote petitions, drawing attention to the assassination attempt, risk of my life, and that wasn't attended to. And yet the Senate President and Governor Yahya Bellow, wrote their own petitions, outcrying that I defamed them by speaking out. And then that is a petition that I am being charged for conspiracy, what's it called? Criminal defamation. Yeah. So this is it. It was just signed on the 27th. My lawyer received it. If you look at the stamp at the bottom, on the evening 2 days ago. So yesterday, my lawyer told me. And if you read it, there was no date mentioned. Like, in view of the foregoing, you are kindly requested to inform your client, that's distinguished Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, to attend an interview with the head of the IGP monitoring unit at the first floor. Blah. There was no date to it. So no date. That means it's just like a vacuum. But this was. I received this yesterday. So, but then again, look at it. Is this not what they ought to have done before charging me to court? I have written petitions.
You're saying that they should have addressed your own petitions.
They should have, yeah. They should have addressed it.
They Senator Akpabio's petitions.
Yes, they should have. I mean, I was the one who went to the police first. In short, my first petition was when the Senate President stripped me of my security. I did complain to the police that, look, I'm in harm's way, considering the fact that I had quite a violent election, and there has never been a time when the governor, Yahya Bellow, has ever given me a chance to breathe. I've always had to sleep with one eye open. So I was like, me being without security has made me quite vulnerable. And if you recall, the day I was suspended, the former Senate President, Ahmed Lawal, did raise that concern and pleaded with the Senate President to allow me retain my police officers, but then that was turned down. So I did write to the police. Nothing was done to that. And then there were attacks also to my home in my village, whereby my younger brother traveled home, and they thought I was the one there. So they attacked our home. And that was also on the news. There was an investigation whereby the police command in Kogi visited my home and did affirm that there was indeed an attack. And prior to that, remember the incident where I went home with the helicopter, which is on the 1st of April? 1st of April. A day to that, which is on the 31st of March, my chief protocol officer in Kogi, Honorable Jude Sule, he was abducted from his home by men in armed uniform, and he was questioned about my movement. He was questioned as to whether I was going to be in Kogi and which route I was going to take, and the man failed to honor them with any response. He was kept for 2 days before dropped at the police station in Okini. It's on record there in Kogi that the man was there. So there were considerable attempts to monitor my movement, track me, hunt me. And like I did mention, there was actually a meeting between Yahya Bellow and Akpabio on the night of the 14th of March,
So
2025, where they did plan to assassinate me and to recall me. And when I did call, after that information, I did call a few press houses to tell them that, look, there was going to be a recall and there was also an assassination attempt, but then they asked for written proof before the press could have carried that story. But then there was no written proof, like a statement of a recall. But then suddenly, after 3 days after that, the recall news broke up. So, yeah.
Okay. These are also like strong allegations, but you are defending yourself. I want to move to Professor Sandra Duru. And in talking about Sandra Duru, the most important thing that Nigerians would like to know, myself included, first and foremost, did you speak with Sandra Duru? Did you guys speak? Like, what's going on? Let's start from there.
Thanks a lot, Adeola. I know this is the most desired question, and everybody watching the all ears now. Yes. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. I would say that categorically, I did not speak with Dr. Sandra Duru, but I did speak with Professor Mbeki as she presented herself. And let me take you back.
It's the same person.
I got to know that it's one and the same person after her broadcast. Let me take you back. And I have, if you don't mind, the screenshot of the entire chats. If you don't mind putting that up so that I can speak to it.
You sent me a screenshot of your chat with her, but I'm also trying to make sure that the address of what's it called? Hold on. I just want to make sure that no address is showing.
So you want to blur the addresses?
Yes. So you speak.
Okay, let me speak. So in the morning at about 10 o'clock on the 27th of March, a dear friend of mine, Ina Agu, who I've known for the past 10 years. Last I saw him was 4 years ago, but we've always maintained contact. He's been very involved and concerned with the developments. So he reached out to me in the morning. I was tending to my garden, and he said, Natasha, there's someone I would like you to speak to. She's been doing a whole lot of publications in support of your cause. I said, who? He said, Professor Mbeki, Professor on Facebook. I was like, okay, I've seen one or two of her posts in my support. And I think I did like and make a comment on it. He said, yes, that he did reach out to her. And then he was like, you know what, encouraged her and all of that stuff. And said, okay, if I should please call her and tell her thank you. My friend had connected me to a number of people in the past. Whenever he saw anyone grant an interview, he'll call me, oh, Natasha, I have this person's number, just say thank you. So people will feel appreciated and valued. I said, okay. So he did call the number out. That was about 10:30 in the morning on the 27th of March. So I called the phone. Hello, Professor Mbeki. She was like, hi, this is it. I told her, thank you so much for lending your voice to this cause. She said it doesn't really matter because she's a woman. She's been sexually harassed before. Her daughter was also sexually harassed. She connected with me and she wasn't doing it for me alone. She was doing it for, the bigger vision, all Nigerian women and women around the world. Conversations went on. But basically, the conversations were not all that she put out or what she said. And before you run down the chats, the screen, I did send you the video of all the conversations, and I would appreciate if you publish it for Nigerians to read. But
I will.
while we were speaking, she told me she was a professor of psychology. I had no reason to doubt because, come on, I like to believe people on the face value of what they present themselves to be. If she says she's a professor, okay, she's a professor. I mean, I supposed to know that she is, Professor Mbeki is just a moniker. It's just a decoy of who she truly is. And she did say she was a professor of psychology. And I was like, oh, to myself, this is who I am. I ran her through my credentials as well. She said she's affiliated with a number of international organizations, United Nations, WHO, UNICEF for Children, and many others. I was like, okay. She said she was going to use her platform to draw attention on this matter of sexual harassment, and that if I had any other addresses, so that she would also write to them through her organization. I was like, okay. So while we're on the call, if you can publish that I think it is important I speak to the chat messages. So that was when I did send to her the first two contacts, which is the Senate President's counterpart in London and the Speaker of the Commonwealth, that, okay, while you're writing to your United Nations and other international organizations, you can also...
Those organizations, I wasn't able to blot their address. Is that okay with you?
Maybe just Okay,
They
so
are
but how will
public.
you? But I
They
want
are
you to
public
put.
organizations.
But will you put the video? I want you to put the
Yeah.
remainder of the chat, because if you can't, then maybe you want me to do a screenshot. Maybe you
No,
start
no, no.
from.
Sorry, I just uploaded the wrong one. That's not it.
Oh, that's one of the posts she had previously written in my support.
Okay, so let me. What's this one? So I'm not able to blur.
But maybe you can skip that part so they'll know that, okay, that's what it is.
Okay. Let's see if we can skip that part. Okay, awesome. Sorry. Please keep talking. I'm having trouble inputting it, but it would work. This is where we rebuke the devil.
I wanted to share build up something.
And you know, one of the reasons that I'm glad that you sent this is because a lot of people would also like to know, why did you delete your conversation with her? Because she put up
We're going to get to that. That's why I want you to show the entire. I want you to show the entire video, the screenshot. But what might have to happen, since we want to take away the addresses of the first. Yeah, you've showed it already. Yeah, okay, so we start from here. Yeah. No, just stop. Please go back a bit up, a little bit to the top. Yeah. You can say it's Professor Mbeke, to the best of my knowledge that I spoke with, as she presented herself. It's just like you now, Adeola. If I've known you as Adeola, you can't come tomorrow. I saw you're Cynthia. Because at that point, I was speaking pretty much on the phone. My phone was always buzzing between the lawyers and Nigerians of goodwill. I spoke to a lot of people. So in my mind, I saved her name as Professor Mbeke. But that wasn't the DP she had at that time. The DP has changed anyway. It was a white dress she was wearing, but it's still an AI generated. I didn't know it was an AI generated video. Like I said, I trusted her on face value. So just before then, she sent me, after I forwarded her the gentleman, the contacts that she said she was going to send letters to, because she's affiliated with United Nations and many international organizations that promote women's rights and all of that. So if I had any contacts that she should write to, I should forward. So I said, okay, fine. You can as well draw the attention of the Speaker of the UK Parliament and the Commonwealth. That was why I sent that. After all, she told me she had written books, and that these books would also speak to the situation at hand. I was like, okay, she sent me this forward. It's only later on in the course of things I got to know that the books she says she's written are also AI written books. But anyway, that's for her to decide or whatever. So just scroll down a bit.
Okay, so we can just play it.
Yeah, so after that, in the course of our conversation, that was me sending to her the I think that was a letter during the return, my return. That was the document, the letter, the Kogi Central Political Frontier. We did speak about that. So I told her that, look, this does not exist. We run a CAC check, and this Kogi Central Political Frontier, as a body that was used to recall me, did not have a legal bearing because it was not registered. So that was what we spoke about. Mind you, it was on the phone, so we're kind of communicating through that. I'm just letting you know the nature of the conversation. So you see that it does not, what she's saying that I said does not even add up at all. That also, I can forward to you what that was, is my petition, my lawyer's petition to INEC. That was what I sent there. So later on, she did say that she had a message. She reached out to my friend, Ina Okoli, that she didn't want to speak to him on blah, 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 that she was an independent person pursuing justice. I didn't really understand where this came from, because at that point we had finished talking. So I didn't, so when she said that, I didn't really understand that. So I think I tried to call her, but she didn't pick up. You can scroll down to see. Please play it for the... No, just let it run through. Yeah, you can see that. I didn't really understand where that my friend stopped. So here, also part of the conversations we had, now please pause here. Part of the conversations we had was the manner in which Senator Nweboyi went all out, castigating me and demeaning me on all the news platforms. So at that point, I told her that I didn't like the fact that I am constantly being reduced and objectified as just a beautiful woman or, you know, a pretty face, that I would like people to look at me as a technocrat, a woman who is well-schooled, who is competent, who is a senator, that when men are conversing, men don't go, oh, I'm going to engage you because you are well-built. I'm going to engage you because you are handsome. Men don't do that. So if you're speaking to me as a lawyer, as an MBA executive, as a senator, speak to me on my competencies and not because I'm beautiful. So that was where she now said, oh, you are a lawyer? And I was like, yes, of course. I ran her through. I'm a lawyer. I have my MBA in oil and gas management. My formative years in my career were spent in the oil and gas sector. So I did run her through that. So at that point, she said, she's impressed. Do I have my credentials? I said, yes, I do have my credentials, which I already made public in the year 2019. And it's actually in the media space. She said I should please forward my credentials to her, together with this screenshot from News Central Instagram page, that she was going to make a post along the line of identifying a woman on competences and not a pretty face. So that was where I sent this. And if you look at it, there are 15 items. Just scroll up again so that people will see. All of this, which, hold on, just pause there. There are about 15 of them in total. They were all my credentials. They were sent in. I dropped them in at the same time. It's like when you drop pictures or PDF files, they all land at the same time. Contrary to what she said on her live, that this were when I was chatting her up and offering her 200 million to blackmail Akpabio. That is not true. Nobody can type 15 messages and the same in 1 minute. It's not possible. I don't even think AI will do that, however fast and smart it is. So these 15 documents, Adeola, I'm going to forward them to you. You'll see.
So everything came in at 12:40 on my screen.
My own time, 12:40. But if you look at her own message, it was 6:40, I think. If you look at it, because when she did her own, I saw the screenshot. Remember, she's in Texas. They are like 6 hours behind.
So you're saying that the messages that she said you deleted, you are saying that they were actually your credentials.
My credentials. Look at them. I've sent. Hold on.
So why
did you? I'm getting there. Look at them. These are my credentials. There were 15 of them from my primary school certificate. From my primary school certificate, my testimonial. This is it. My secondary school, Federal Government College, Idoani. You'll see it there. This were University of Abuja, Nigerian Law School, NYSC, CAPMLP, that's University of Dundee, Aberdeen, had a program there, and many other. This is INSEAD, my MBA. Okay, this is still INSEAD, IHRDC in Boston, because I did mention that I have quite a lot of, so I've sent everything to you anyway. It's in your phone right now, but that's what I published. That's it. And you know one thing, the beauty is that I just got back from the US because I was there to also see how we could further some of this, because I really am going to get to the bottom of this. And I'm told that in matters, I believe if WhatsApp is contacted, they can be able to extract these deleted items because they did have it happen on their platform. So we're hoping that in the course of the litigations, they'll be able to extract. But I'm just letting Nigerians should just understand that it was in the course of our conversation where she wanted to make a post putting side by side Senator Nwaboy's statement. If you look at it up there, where he said, does Natasha think she's one of the most beautiful women in Nigeria? So, and I told her that I didn't like the fact that women have been reduced or objectified. Speak to me as a competent individual, a technocrat. And that was why I told her about my academic, qualifications. And she said, okay, I should forward it. So this were all, that's why they all dropped at the same time. When you drop bulk messages in pictorial forms or PDF or whatever, they land the same time. It's impossible. Yeah, that's it. That's why this is what I sent to her. My work, certificates, everything. So
some people may ask, why did you delete the messages?
So let's proceed. So after that, I didn't hear from Sandra. Let's go back to the text messages. Yeah. Okay. Aha. Look at the time. That was 12:40. So then at about, let me go back so I can read from my own space here. Yeah. This is it on my phone. So just to let you know that I want to read it as well from here since we'll be. Okay. So this is it from my own phone. That's the screenshot. And then this is where we are here. Okay, so now, then after about 4 hours, she sent this first message asking for a contract and asking how I was going to take care of her and her team.
So let me read it.
Let's read it. This is very important. It's important Nigerians read this because this is where things got interesting. Mind you, the 37 minutes we spoke had nothing to do with contracts, had nothing to do with I'm engaged. I never told her there was nothing like sexual harassment, that I'm all set out to destroy Tinubu's Yoruba government, that I called Nigeria gullible and hungry, that I paid Dr. Obia Sikwesili money to carry on the advocacy, that what did she say? I was going to poison my husband.
You called her useful idiot.
That I called Frida useful idiot. Never, ever, ever. And I'm actually glad in a way that she is a witness in this federal government suit because she has to testify on everything. She must provide evidence that is going to be subjected to verification. Because you see, there's a limit. I don't know. I've listened to some of these audios. What she did in a way is so funny. Like, apparently the way I'm speaking to you over the on here now sounds differently from when I'm speaking to you in person or when I grant an interview or when I speak to you over the phone. So what she probably did was get how I sounded on the phone, of course. And then she released one part where I mentioned about working in brass LNG and all, of course. But then she used some AI to now generate other parts that I didn't speak of. But again, I don't know what else she has in stock, but I'm challenging her. And like I said, I just returned from the US. I'm in London now, but I'm going to be in Nigeria for the arraignment on the 3rd because I have done no wrong. I'm not going to run away. The 3rd of June has been fixed 2 p.m. So I'm going to be there to defend myself fully in person. But also I'm letting Nigerians know that this is not going to go down this easy because people can't wake up one day and just cook up stories and manipulate and use whatever technology they think they can access just to defend the person. No, I'm saying it clearly now before the world. I never said there was no sexual harassment. I never said I'm out to destroy Tinubu's Yoruba government. I'm not one. People who know me will know that I am not a tribalist, and I respect and appreciate every tribe in Nigeria, every ethnicity. I mean, who am I? I'm half Ukrainian, half Nigerian. Who am I to talk about tribes when I'm actually one part of the other world? So that's not my nature. That's not my language. And if anybody said that, that's probably her team. The people who are sponsors were the ones that put those words to her because they knew that I had and I enjoyed a lot of support from Nigerians, not just in Kogi State, across the country, even in diaspora. So, and he also knows, the Senate President also knows that I enjoy to a large extent a good relationship with the president himself, even though I have never said it in the open, but I'm saying it now. And that actually annoyed him because there was a time that the Senate president told my husband, I was like, are you aware your wife goes to see the president? And my husband was like, yes, I'm aware. Whenever she has critical issues to raise, like before I brought up the Jakarta's probe, I did meet with Mr. President to make sure that he knew the nature of that and was okay with it. So, and other things I have met in person. So I do not have a hostile relationship with the president, even though I'm in opposition. I keep telling people, the people of Kogi Central voted me to work as a senator, not to go out there, antagonize and create enmity. And neither is also important for me, people to know that my issues are with the Senate president himself, not the Nigerian Senate, not the institutions, and not the presidency. But it's unfortunate that he's wielding things to entrap all the institutions to attack me. But like I said, it's important. I'm glad you've given me this chance to tender things. But let's go back to the text now. What for? The people want to know, why did I delete my credentials from her page? So let's go back. The message she wrote there, after 4 hours of our conversation, she went, "Dear Senator Natasha, I hope this message finds you well." No, please go back. No, still scroll up. Yeah. "I hope this message finds you well. I would like to understand how you would like me to proceed in assisting with your case," mind you, the sexual harassment case, "including the specific outcomes you intend to achieve and the timeline you have in mind. Additionally, please let me know if you would like to formally engage my services or support my team in executing the strategy we have carefully put together to resolve this matter effectively." Now, Nigerians should pause and listen. Just let's think. If actually she said that what I deleted was me offering her 200 million to blackmail the Senate president, why is she talking about resolving this matter effectively? Or was she, if I had castigated the presidency, talked about destroying the Yoruba tribe or the Yoruba government, then subsequent messages from her should have been in tune of what we had discussed. But here she's presenting herself as a mediator. She wanted to assume a role of mediating between the Senate president and myself on sexual harassment. And then she was asking for a contract. Please, let's continue. Then she said further in the second paragraph, "Please feel free to speak with me confidentially. I value discretion and professionalism. I would prefer to handle matters directly rather than through intermediaries." I don't know who the intermediaries are, maybe my friend who introduced us. "For this reason, I have not shared any details with the individual who contacted me regarding a media appearance on your behalf. I approach cases differently, maintaining strict boundaries to ensure the best possible outcome. Let me know how you would like to proceed. I am here to support you." Please, can you scroll down? Mm-hmm. She wrote all nice. Let people see the last part. "I'm here to support you." Just pause there. If actually I called her and I was poaching her to bring down the government, to destroy people, to destroy the Senate president, I've called Nigerians gullible and hungry. So why was she being patronizing and nice? Let's think. But when I saw that, okay, it was after the second, I wasn't on my phone then, so she continued. After like an hour, she continued, "Would you be open to a closed-door negotiation involving you, your husband, and Senator Akpabio to bring a resolution to this matter if it comes to that? If so, where would you prefer such a meeting to take place? Sometimes strategic negotiations are necessary to untangle complex situations. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this." She was still pushing me, presenting herself as a mediator, as of that. Mind you, she has told me she is a professor of psychology or human psychology, so I know that hard word. psychology or sociology. I know she was a professor of one of them. So at that point, I paused and I called my friend. Before responding to her, I called Ina. And I said, Ina, she mentioned something about a contract. Is that did you have that conversation with her? He said no, that he only told her that I was going to call her to appreciate her and have like a girly chat. And I was like, okay, but she's asking for a contract and she's asking how I was going to support her team. And I was like, okay. He said I should ignore that he never met. I said, but did you ask her about a media appearance? He said, yeah, because she was writing so well. So he thought she might want to appear on a TV station, maybe channels or AIT or Arise, and speak about her concerns because she had written previously that she was also a victim of sexual harassment and her daughter also. So maybe she wanted to learn the vote. That was all. He didn't ask that it's going to be paid or anything. So that was where I now responded. Please just show my response. You can see I refer to her as dear professor, not dear Sandra or something. I thought I was speaking to a professor. So here I responded, dear professor, I have had to read your message times over, and I am not comfortable going contractual. My friend Ina probably connected with you on the passion he saw you speak against the injustice meted against me. While I continue to count on your kindness, which I trust will, amidst others, snowball into justice for women everywhere. However, if you stop chatting our cause, know I still deeply appreciate your sisterhood spirit. And whenever I return to the Senate or wherever I find myself, know you have a friend and a cheerleader in me, love. That's to show you from this. I made her understand that I wasn't going into any contract. I only called her to appreciate her because of what she's been doing. And our conversation was not in any way in furtherance of an activity, not to talk of an illicit activity. From here, you can tell. And mind you, I have downloaded all of this whole conversation, and I've sent it in a digital form as well as printed these messages to all the security agencies in Nigeria. I'm actually surprised. That's why I say that the police never looked into this. Instead, they are listing her as a witness against me over a criminal defamation, someone that was pushing me for a contract that I said no. I'm actually surprised the Senate president fell for this scam, because he would have been smart enough to say, no, you know what, I'm not in. Because at the end of the day, I didn't think there was a reason for me to pay anybody. Everybody who has spoken, I never paid anybody anything to speak up. I've watched people across our platform, even people from Labour Party, even many APC members themselves who stood up and say, you know what, they are APC, but they stand for Natasha against sexual harassment. I didn't have to pay anybody. So let's continue. Go back again. So you can see from here, I clearly told her that while I'll continue counting, that I wasn't ready to engage her contractually, that I would trust that she will continue advocating. But even if she stops because there's no contract, it is fine. I appreciate what she's done before, and she should know that I have the sisterhood bond with her. But that didn't go down well with Sandra. Sandra, as she is now, Professor Mbeke, as I thought she was. So she continued, dear Senator, I appreciate your message and the sincerity behind it. Let me make one thing absolute clear. There is nothing contractual or monetary about officially engaging me to handle what I have already been doing voluntarily. Please explain that to me as a lawyer.
I'm so sorry.
Yes, okay. Explain that to me. At that point, she's trying to wind my intelligence. No, still go back. Okay, trying to wind my intelligence that I should go ahead, that engaging her in writing contractually does not amount to monetary. And I'm so glad I didn't do that, because I bet you, even if I had said, I'm trying to understand the nature of the contract. Yes, dear Professor Mbeke, I engage you to mediate in me and blah, blah, blah. This lady would have slammed me with a bill of $500,000 or $1 million. Only God knows if she had that. But immediately I sensed it when she was playing that a contract with that. Everybody knows a contract will amount to remuneration at the end of the day. So here she said, There is nothing contractual or monetary about officially engaging me to handle what I've already been doing voluntarily without even needing to discuss it with you first. My work in addressing injustice has never been about personal gains, but about clarity, coordination, and commitment to the cause. Formalizing an engagement is not about transactions. It's about ensuring proper communication alignment and efficiency in tackling the very issues we are fighting. Again, you will see, this is a woman who came up to say, my deleted messages were all about destroying the government, destroying the Senate president, doing all of those things. Nigerians, I know we're very smart people. You can tell here that if indeed I spoke to her about paying people or about destroying the government or about or offering her 200 million to blackmail the Senate president into some murder, you would have seen that in the conversation. But here she was putting herself as a mediator, seeking an engagement for her to continue what she said she has been doing voluntarily. And what was she doing voluntarily prior to this was advocating for women against sexual harassment. So our conversation was on sexual harassment, and never did I tell her there was no sexual harassment. So that's it. Again, she said, regardless of where this part leads, that's the last paragraph. Okay, no. Hold on, before then, I skipped one part. I respect your stance, even if I believe that a structured approach would have made things smoother and more effective. That said, I will continue to do what I'm known for, standing against injustice and misinformation, adhering to facts, and maneuvering sensitive matters with a critical but fair lens. My stance is independent, and I take full responsibility for my actions. How you choose to engage with that is entirely up to me. That's up to you. Regardless of where this path leads, I know that my fight is not for individuals alone, but for the larger cause of justice and truth. I value the connection we built. And whether or not I continue to chat this particular cause, which is of sexual harassment, I will always stand where integrity and justice demands. She wrote that. After, I didn't respond, but I read it. But after 7 minutes or so, she wrote again. I don't think this is the right path for me. I thrive best when I operate independently, guided by my principles and convictions. At the end of the day, all that matters is achieving a just and positive outcome, and that remains my ultimate hope. So at that point, I was like, you know what, let me just end this, because I already began to feel very uneasy. So I now wrote to her, and this was my last message to Sandra, or Professor Mbeke then, as I thought she was. I wrote, Madam, I respect your independent views. Maybe we can forget we interacted. I will caution my friend Ina, my friend who connected us, to guard his heart in seeking help. God bless us. God, that was my message. Look, from here you could tell that this was the same day. All this conversation was just one day, 27th of March.
So you guys only spoke once?
Only once. And the only time I spoke with her, 37 minutes. If you scroll back, you will see 37 minutes. It was nothing controversial. It was, we even ended it by saying, at the end of all of this, we're going to join forces, her in America with her network, and myself in Nigeria with my experience and her experience, how we're going to create safe spaces for women. I did mention to her that I noticed that the Senate rules was silent on sexual harassment and on how to resolve matters among senators. I also told her that I had received lots of calls from women in NNPC, in other organizations, in banks, where they were sexually harassed and demanded sexual favors before their promotions. I told her that, look, I think Nigerians, public and private spaces, need to have the sexual harassment codes. And that is something we would work together with her experience as an international figure, which I thought she was. I didn't know that she's not even a professor. I didn't know that she's not even a doctor. You know, it's later on I got to know. So that was our conversation. It wasn't what is being painted. So even you've seen, like, look at it. At this, my second message to her was, Madam, I respect your independent views, because she had mentioned several times she works independently, and I was like, there was no way I was going to engage her. There was no way we're talking about mediation. Our matter at that point was still at the ethics committee level, and this was before the presidential panel was set up. So I said, maybe we can forget we interacted. At that point, I was like, I don't even want to have any conversation with you. So if, as she said, that I engaged her, or I was trying to pay her 200 million to entrap the Senate president into some murder and all of that, I wouldn't have. I'm the one here that's calling. You could tell from my response, I was trying to end it with her. I wasn't having it because I had already sent. This was when I went back and I deleted all because I realized that this lady is a scam. She's probably a blackmailer. So I went back there and I deleted my credentials. That was what prompted me to delete my credentials. And I'm saying it again. Nobody can type 15 messages in 1 second, in 1 minute. 15. Not even AI. I mean, if you want to hold ChatGPT and go, ChatGPT, create a message on so, before you get to the third one, maybe back and forth on ChatGPT, you would have, at least you would have seen the time would have gone to 12:41, 12:42, 12:45, to show that there's a sequence of timeliness. And I bet you nothing like that. It was my credentials I sent because she wanted to make a post countering what Senator Nwaboyne said, that I am just a pretty face. Why think that I'm the most beautiful woman in Nigeria and all of that? And I told her I didn't like the fact that I was reduced as an object. Do you understand? I wanted to be addressed as a competent technocrat, a woman who is a lawyer, who is an MBA executive, who had worked in the oil and gas sector and now joined politics. And all of this was what I was bringing to the table politically in raising the standard of leadership. That was the conversation we had. That was why I sent my credentials. But when things turned ugly, still the same day, about 10 p.m., I knew that I had to go back to delete my credentials. And that was the last time I spoke to her. But what happened after that snowballed into her. Apparently, probably she thought she was going to entrap me into some contract, make some money from me, and she wasn't getting that. So let's continue. The next thing, she was sending me screenshots of how people were making comments, still trying to entrap me, like, Natasha, people are making comments, we need to act kind of thing. So she then wrote again, I respect your perspective, but let's approach this matter with fairness and objectivity. The pursuit of justice will never be reduced to emotional game or dismissed as distraction. If Senator Natasha claims to have evidence, I don't know whether she was sending this to me or she responded and she was letting me know what she had responded. But basically, you could see that her tone was already changing. Still the same day. This was already just a few minutes to, still the same day, about 10 something. An affidavit, while not substantial or blah, blah, blah. Let me see. Yeah, it's still a legal document that carries weight. So basically, she was just responding to somebody's message. She wrote that this has birthed unheard screams, a handbook for all our children to educate them on how to handle similar situations. And here, this word got me. At the beginning of my conversations, the woman told me she has already written a book and she has sent me a forward. If you look at that first 2 screenshots, she said she had written a book on heard screams and she was in the course of publishing the books. And here, later on that same night, she's telling me that my scenario has birthed a book that she said she had written before. Now she's saying my situation had made her write a book. So at that point, I already knew that I was dealing with a psychopath. I didn't respond. And then in response to my message where I said, let's forget that we spoke, she now responded, of course, good luck. You could see it now became a monologue where she was responding. So probably she was having conversations in her head. Probably she's schizophrenic. So she then wrote, heaping more enemies through lack of understanding and arrogance, yet you have said so much. I didn't understand where that was coming from. Then she continued, you have an appalling spirit of pride, and such is certain to drag anyone it possesses into sure doom, no matter how long it takes. I read it, I didn't say anything. I called my friend. I'm like, why is this woman acting this way? It's like she's having conversations, or is she building a line of chat so to seem as if I'm speaking to her and then she's responding? So my friend told me that she was actually forwarding these same things to him too. That, oh, your friend has an appalling spirit of pride. It's not going to help her, blah, blah, blah. I didn't respond. So forward 3 days after, mind you, the first conversations that I've read happened, it was just a tough day from 10 o'clock in the morning when we spoke till about 10:43 p.m. So 3 days after, which was on Sunday, the 30th of March, she just sent this message. I had all your threats, but I have zero tolerance for such nonsense. Bring it on. I didn't speak to her. I didn't send no threats. I was minding my business. So I was surprised she wrote that. I didn't respond again. She now wrote a very long, I don't know if I wrote, a very long, this was where I knew that, okay, she was already turning against and trying to blackmail me. Made a post, I said this, I said that, and I heard that this was what she forwarded to someone who works with the Senate president, and this was how she was able to get them engage her. This was this was it. This was the last, when she sent this last message, that was when I blocked her. So I blocked Professor Mbeki on the 30th of March. I blocked her. I went to Facebook. I blocked her same day. I didn't converse with her on Instagram, but I searched her up, blocked her there. I can't remember if I blocked her on X, on Twitter, but I knew that at that point, I already heard so much, and I was like, you know what? All of this stuff, I was just blocking, because I knew that she was already up for blackmail, and she was probably looking for a bidder, someone who will engage her services. So that was it. You can see I blocked her that day. So Nigerians should know I spoke to a woman who impersonated herself as Professor Mbeki, not Sandra Duru. And it was an innocent conversation whereby I had to call her based on my friend's advice, a good innocent friend who thought it was wise and safe. Our conversations were not in any way along the path of destroying the government or promoting regional divide or saying that I bought a rise. Can I buy a rise? Or that I influenced FIDA or Dr. Obi with money, or Dr. Adeola of Manifesto, nothing like that. Or I called Nigerians gullible and hungry, nothing, never, never. It was just a game, a plan to cut me off my support and set me against the president, the institutions, and the Nigerian people of whose support I've generously enjoyed by the grace of God. So this was it. This all happened March. Now let's move. In the third week of April, I received a petition from the Nigerian police under the name, the Unique Family something, Unique Family, signed by Dr. Sandra Duru, accusing me of being in the know and withholding information on organ harvesting and all of this stuff, that there was a recorded conversation. And I responded to them, I didn't have any conversation with Sandra Duru. I did write that very short, one paragraph, that I'm not aware of any Sandra Duru, neither am I affiliated with any Unique Family Foundation. And that was my honest response. I think that I responded on the 27th of April, 2025. So Mario had blocked her, so I wouldn't know what she was writing. And my team know that I care a lot about safeguarding my space with positivity, because it was a whole lot going on. So they weren't bringing her conversations to me. It was after her live broadcast on the 1st of May that people are like, oh, did I speak to Sandra Duru? Sandra, did I speak to Sandra? Because Sandra is Professor Mbeki and all of these confusions. And then I went online like, oh my goodness, what is it? Oh, that's the same person. But then the Sandra Duru picture online is different from Sandra Duru, from Professor Mbeki, because she had used most of her pictures. Her pictures are all artificial intelligence generated. So basically, she's well versed and conversant with the skills of AI. And that's what she used to the best of what she was engaged for. Moving on. So that was it. And the police never got back to me that, okay, if you don't know Sandra Duru now with this, her live, come Natasha. She said she released audios. Do you know this? Did you speak to, okay, however you know her, Professor Mbeki, did you actually mention this? I thought the police was going to invite me to ask, to attest whether that's my voice and which part of it is not, or whether they were going to subject the recordings to scrutiny. I wasn't given a chance at all. The police never invited me to speak on the content that she released. But what I'm grateful to God for is the very next day, she did release my phone number. And that's actually, I would say on one part, it's called Doxing, which is part of cyberbullying. But what I would say is, even though I woke up to the next morning to over 2,000 calls, and like by the hour it's getting like, if I drop my phone, I'll just look, I'll see like 500 missed calls, 700 missed calls. I will see messages. Pretty much I would say that 95% of the messages I received were all in support. They were all prayers, but 5%, of course, mainly from the western part of Nigeria, which I understand. I was read story like Konida Fuen, those who really believed that I was insulting, I was out to destroy this Yoruba government opportunity. And that's really not true. That's never happened. I just hope that they will understand that that's not me. And it was all lies cooked up to set me against the people. So my husband did get me a new line and a new phone, saying that, because I also did, how you put the star hash to see whether your line is bugged, star hash 62, something like that. And I did, and I saw that my phone, even till now, is bugged, all calls forwarding, everything. So my line is bugged. I tried to cancel it with star hash 002 or something, and it failed. So, but it's okay. But I told my husband I didn't want to use a new line. I told him I was a public figure. It's okay if Nigerians have my number and reach out to me. And most importantly, I knew that whenever situations occur, in as much as people would call to insult me or harass me, I'll also receive prayers, but also I'll get hints. And that was where I started getting information. People who have victims reached out. Oh, Natasha, I've been scammed by Sandra. I've been this, she has done this, she has done that. So as the good came, I'm glad I didn't change my number. I didn't switch it off. It's still my number. So I got a lot of information. And that was for what I also 6 days after Sandra's interview, I wrote my first petition against her, itemizing everything that she said. And I called on the security agencies to investigate. That was when I also submitted the chats. And like, this lady was actually, I called her to appreciate her. She misrepresented herself. She then asked for a contract and asked how I was going to support her team in whatever she wanted to do as a mediator. And then for her to, not only for her to come up, when she saw that she couldn't lure me to a contract, she then went against me, cooking up all these malicious lies. So I did forward all of those to the police, but they never investigated. And I did, after Frances, first let me appreciate Frances Obonaya and Mr. Obina. I don't know, I've forgotten his surname. And the American Mr. David as well. Thank you all for speaking up. I heard that there are many more victims who are shy of speaking up. I thank you for standing up for truth. And I do sympathize with Mr. Obina and his family, because I'm aware that a week ago, over a week, he was on the orders of the Inspector General of Police. Unfortunately, he was picked up from his home at 3 a.m., right in front of his children and his wife, for no just reason. and he was moved to Abuja and has been locked up since then. And it's unfortunate because this is a primary witness. If the police actually wants to do a diligent job, based on my petitions, this is someone who has come up to attest to the role that he was paid to play and that he pulled out of the engagement when he realized that the plot was getting darker, if I'm to use his words. He said he saw the plot was getting darker and unholy, and there was a plan to jail me. Is that not what is happening now? This is exactly what Obina spoke about. And that was why he pulled out, because he said even the audio that she sent to him, which she didn't know whether was real, that there was nothing about me destroying the government or paying 200 million to blackmail Akpabio or anything. So he pulled out. So I thought the police was going to invite Obina as a primary witness and take his statements. Instead, they've locked him up. So that is witch hunting and suppressing someone who would potentially be my witness. And I want Nigerians to know that they should join voices to call on for Obina's freedom. What the police is doing is wrong. I'm saying this categorically clear. The Inspector General of Police, I did see your number, your name appear on Sandra's call log during her live stream. And it's unfortunate that the woman who I'm told has quite a file with the police, a file with DSS on activities she has, illicit activities she has committed against Nigerian men, blackmailing them, sextorting them. You would actually converse with such a person. Well, you're the Inspector General of Police. I believe you're answerable to all Nigerians. But I hope that you will find courage to diligently investigate all my petitions. And I'm actually wondering how the Inspector General of Police is going to investigate it now that these two people, or the three people, including Yaya Bello, actually all are listed in my petitions. So how are you going to investigate that when you have already written me off and condemned me to the courts to be jailed, probably? Let's talk about Governor Yaya Bello. Right from when I joined politics in 2018 till my 2019 election, I've written several petitions, I believe over 15 petitions, from threat to my life to the killings of my supporters. Over 20 people have been killed. Their names, pictures, more than 100, should I say, sustained injuries, gunshots. I mean, I tried as much as possible to visualize the story of my campaign in 2018, 2019, when I was an SDP. The SDP office was burnt down. My grandfather's house was burnt. A lot of evil happened. Petitions I wrote. Till date, the police never attended to one single petition. I survived 2 accidents. One, that my vehicle was tampered with when I visited Kogi. It's the grace of God that I'm alive. A day to the 2023 elections. A day to the 2023 elections. I'm coming. Give me a minute, huh?
Thank you for your patience, guys. I'm gonna run this up as soon as she comes back. Thank you.
Saw how Yaya Bello
I
dug up
muted
road.
you. I just unmuted you, so go ahead.
So a day to the 2023 elections in February, we all saw how Yaya Bello ordered that the roads around my community would be cut off, dug off, so as to prevent campaign materials from reaching. But people don't know that it wasn't just to prevent materials from getting to me. It was also to entrap me and set me up for danger. People don't know that 3 days before the election, a bomb went off just 10 minutes away from my home. A lot happened. Even though we didn't speak of it, we put them down in petitions to the Inspector General of Police. Even though he wasn't, this gentleman, IGP Kayode, wasn't the Inspector General of Police, but it's the same institution. I believe once a petition has been laid, whether the people manning the office change hands, it's still the duty of the institution to investigate the several petitions and to hold people accountable. But it's unfortunate that Yaya Bello has not been made to face the law, irrespective of the many murders that happened, the many attacks that happened to the people of my constituency. And I still stand by my word. On the 14th of March, 2025, Senator Asukwo drove Yahaya Bello from Hilton Hotel to Akpabio's residence. And that was where they planned my recall and they planned to assassinate me. And that the assassination should happen in Kogi State, not in Abuja, so that fingers will not point at him. To me, I've spoken. It's left for them to investigate. It's left for the police to investigate. And the nature of this, the way things have taken a turn whereby I am now facing criminal charges. And I would tell people every week, there's no week that passes without Senator Karimi, Senator Sunday Karimi, the senator from Kogi West. There's no week since this whole thing started that Senator Karimi has not taken it upon himself to remind me in our Northern Senators Forum of the need for me to pack my bags and go to jail. Like, that is Senator Karimi's message. He would himself and Senator Zam from Benue, I don't know whether it's Benue Central or whatever. They were just right there. Even yesterday, both of them in the Senate WhatsApp group, they reminded me of the need for me to pack my bags and go to jail. So it's unfortunate that in all of this, simply because I spoke up of sexual harassment, which I still stand, even though some people, over 20 different individuals whom I respect greatly, have reached out to mediate. Even a number of African women parliamentarians also reached out. They came visiting from Gambia, Liberia, Benin Republic. A number of them came, and others trying to mediate. But the message that always came from the Senate president, because what happens is they will come to me, speak to me, go to the Senate president, speak to him, and try to have a common ground. So their condition, they'll be like, we've met with the Senate president, but he says I must retract my statements of sexual harassment and apologize on the floor. That has always been his stand. Like, that is a window. Even if you look at I think I did send you the resolution from the committee on my suspension. You will see there, item 2, that if Natasha is given if she apologizes in writing, that I'll be recalled back. So I've been told also that Natasha, don't be stubborn. Other senators who were suspended, Senator Ali Ndume apologized and he was recalled back.
It was made public.
Senator Ningi also apologized. But I tell them, all of these people who have come, I said, I appreciate your efforts in trying to mediate. I'm all for peace. And I respect the Nigerian Senate. I respect all the institutions. And I'm not pretty much a troublemaker. But you see, on this matter of sexual harassment, I'm not apologizing. And I also would take time to educate each and every one of them that I did not break the Senate rules on change of seat. That I also showed them the chart. I forgot to send it to you. Where I was sitting, there's a way in which our names are positioned along each seat, and it will be circulated to us in the Senate WhatsApp group. So everybody will know where they sit, and people are usually given chances and opportunity to explain why they don't want to sit here, or they want to sit with their friends and all that. So I said, I just walked into work that morning, only for me to be told by staff that my seat was changed unceremoniously. And even though they said I wasn't the only one whose seat was changed, but why did they move someone else to the seat where the cameras were cut off? I said that was a deliberate attempt to cut me off visibility. And also, I did mention to them that if you look at it, my outbursts, for those of them who feel my outbursts aggravated my suspension, the first person who broke the rule was the Senate president. When I started reading Order 10 on privileges, he should have allowed me finish up, and he would have invited me to his desk, or he would have put it to question or say, Natasha, you know what, I have heard you, but today sit there and we would review it. No, what did he do? Right in the middle of me reading my order of privilege, he called for the chamber staff to take me out and to prepare for my suspension. So I said, no matter what befalls me, I will not apologize because I have done no wrong. I am not apologizing for refusing to move my seat to the seat that I was verbally assigned, not properly notified in writing, and not given a chance to argue or to debate why I would like to retain my seat. I would also not apologize for speaking up on sexual harassment. Apologizing for sexual harassment means everything I've said is a lie. And then thinking about it, that means no other woman who faces the same ill will be able to speak up tomorrow. And that is like upholding the culture of harassment, upholding the culture of fear and intimidation. And even though today is the 84th day that I've been out of the chambers, I really miss representing my people. But also, on the greater scale of things, I've always identified myself as a political reformer than a politician, primarily because I believe that the Nigerian political space needs to be reformed. And I have put myself out there right from the nature of my elections and how I've interacted with Nigerian people through social media, narrating my ordeals, my victories, and all. I want people to look at my life and say, okay, this is what politics really is. If Natasha is going through this, that means it's not all rosy, but how can we use her narrative, her experiences to strengthen the ecosystem in politics in Nigeria and in turn raise the standard of leadership? So I don't know what will befall me on the 3rd, but I'm arriving in Nigeria and I will be there in court to face these charges. And I trust that the judiciary will accord me a fair chance to explain what truly happened. If all of these utterances that they say I made were real, fine, I'll face the law. But if not, then all of those who have ganged up to defame me, to criminalize me, should also face the law. That's my stand. I have heard them boasting that on that day, I'll be sent to prison, there'll be no bail. All well and good. The president himself, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has been jailed before. Nelson Mandela too, and many other great people. So if this is the prize of politics, then I'll wear it as a badge of honor. But I want Nigerians to know that I'm persecuted right now. And this whole issue of Sandra, Duru, or Professor Mbeke, like I said, I am going to the end of this. I will not, no one can just come up and cook up stories and think that they will malign me or destroy me, no. And I am strong, and I'll continue counting on the support of Nigerians. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate the prayers. And yes, I'm not afraid of what will happen, even though I'm concerned that the whole federal government, as a body, as a sovereign entity, will reduce itself to use taxpayers' money to further witch hunt an individual who doesn't have a track record of no criminality. I have never been arrested by the police. I have never been charged to court for anything wrong, illegal. I am also aware that in the course of this whole happenstance, that they were digging up to find out whether they could initiate an EFCC case against me, maybe for embezzlement of funds, but they found me clean. And I'm so proud. I never, in the course of me running the committee, tasked or harassed any of the companies under my watch then, or any minister, or anything for anything. There was nothing. I do not have any case. And it's funny, ironically, that the same individuals who have tons of petitions against them, even proven ones, right in EFCC, are the same people who have ganged up against a woman of clean character. And for those who think that they could scandalize me because of my past marriages. Listen, yes, I've been married twice before, my husband now. And I tell you, no one knows the reason why my marriage ended. And my husband is calling me. I'm sure he doesn't want me to speak on this.
Okay,
But it's okay. Let me just say this. Let me round up. No one knows the reason why my previous marriages ended. But I would just say I'm a survivor. And I have a good understanding relationship with my first husband is dead. He died years back. And my second, I have a good relationship with him and the kids. And as a matter of fact, in the course of my elections, his family supported me greatly. And because he's from Okene local government, and his team, so his family supported me. So if I was a bad person, then I don't think I'll be lucky enough to have a man as good as my husband now. And I love him dearly. I support him. Alema of Warrior Kingdom. Hi, Chief Emmanuel Uduaghan. I love you dearly. Thank you so much. I know it's not been easy. Even times when I thought this was too much. I remember some days I would just tell him, my love, I'm so sorry. Because I just feel guilty sometimes that maybe I should have stayed quiet. There are times when I've had these thoughts, yes, that maybe I shouldn't have spoken up. Maybe he would have still had a blossom relationship with the Senate president. But I did hold it. He appreciated me and he said, Natasha, you did no wrong. It's good you spoke up. It's good I know who my friends are. And I didn't soil nothing. But he's been of great support for me and the children. Thank you so much for those. My kids will come to me and say, Mom, whatever we read online doesn't define you. And yeah, Adeola, you too, thank you for opening your platform. I do appreciate. And I'm sorry for the insults. I've seen people say, oh, I paid you. I can't, how will I? Like, there's no value to this. And yeah, thank you so much for all the goodwill. Thank you for this platform.
Thank
Thank you
you,
for the
Sandra,
opportunity.
for for opening up and coming on the show and addressing all these things. Also, thank you for saying you didn't pay me. I don't know why anybody in their right senses would think
I
that
read that somewhere in some comments. I
I
think it was
would
under.
collect money from anybody. I have never collected any money. I've never collected money from anybody to feature them on my show or to talk about their story. So I never respond to things like that because who has time? But I'm glad that you talked about it. So I have a number of concerns, and then I'm going to take questions from them because I promised them that I will take questions from people. So my first concern is, first and foremost, what can we do about Obina, who is still in prison? The second concern is, you said that you're going to appear in court. So we are concerned about your safety. What day are you arriving in Nigeria? Because if we don't hear from you, we want you to be able to text, to tweet or something that I am safely in my home. We don't want a situation where you'll be picked up at the airport. What day are you arriving in Nigeria? You don't need to tell us the time, but we will be looking at the clock. If we don't hear from, if we don't get a tweet from you by maybe Monday afternoon or Tuesday afternoon or something, we just want to be able to follow you bumper to bumper as Nigerians who are worried about your safety. So number one, what can we do about Obina that is still being detained? And number two, what day are you arriving in Nigeria, and do you promise to tweet or something, carry us along on your social media platforms that I have safely arrived in Nigeria or I'm on my way to Nigeria or something, just so that if we don't hear from you, we will know if you've been picked up at the airport, because we don't want that kind of situation.
Okay. I have also heard first that the moment I arrive Nigeria, my passport will be seized to prevent me from traveling, more like in a bid to restrict my movement. I don't know, that's a rumor. I hope that's not going to happen because, I mean, it's not like I've skipped any arraignments. It's not like I'm on the wanted list. So I will present myself. Like I said, right now I'm in London. I will present myself on the 3rd. I hope to be in Nigeria, if not the 1st, the 2nd latest. or maybe very early in the morning on the 3rd, and then go straight to court. Because there is a British Airways flight on the night of on the 2nd. That means I'll fly overnight and arrive
Wherever
on
you
the
carry us
whatever
along,
it is. I'll let you know. But just know
carry
that
us along,
I
Nigeria.
also have concerns of my safety. If I'm going to court, will I be protected? I know there, you know how was it? Where was I? I think I saw something on the news somewhere where somebody was shot at the court. It was like international news. I don't know if you saw it. It was recent, like was it in the States or something. I know I saw it. Somebody was going to court and was shot at the entrance of the court. So my mind was like, oh my goodness, what if this happens to me? But you know what? I'm just going to be courageous and trust that no harm will come to me. Yeah, I'll arrive in Nigeria. I'll promise to keep you informed. I will make tweets.
Yes.
I'm
And
not that
Nigerians
active on
will
Twitter,
say
but
that
I'm
Nigerians want me to tell you don't eat anything, or don't drink anything, or
no,
because
if I'm perchance, I don't know why my husband keeps calling me. Sorry, let me take this call. Maybe he wants to tell me something.
okay, so this is the time I'm going to mute you.
Just
while
hold
you
on, it's important. Let me just take this.
I'm muting you. So if you have any questions for the senator, this is the time to ask. I'm going to start taking questions from the comments section. Please and please don't abuse anyone. Although I've seen a number of people abusing people, that's okay. Every time that I've talked about Sandra Duru, by the way, just so people know, I would see some YouTube accounts that was literally created after my video was uploaded, and they
Hello,
will
my
have
love.
like,
What are you saying?
okay, and then I will see them putting up like 50 comments from one account. So it's okay. There are a lot of fake accounts. Some people believe that Sandra Duru is creating fake accounts. I don't know, allegedly, so please, if anybody is abusing someone, just ignore them. But if you have genuine question for the senator, you can put in the comment section. If you are asking about something that she has already addressed in the last 2 hours, I will not pick it. Some people are asking about Reno Mockery. She addressed that extensively, so I will not be picking that. But if you have genuine questions, please ask, and then I will put it on the screen. Go ahead, Senator.
Yeah, I thought I finished it. That I'm more active on Facebook and Instagram. I will try to be more active on Twitter, but I'll definitely let Nigerians know. Okay, maybe in the morning when I'm going to court, but also just in case, because I know that it's been fixed for 2 p.m. I wish it was earlier. So if our hearing is 2 p.m. and then I don't know whatever bail conditions will be set. So I hope I'll be able to meet the bail conditions. But maybe I'm thinking maybe it was fixed for 2 p.m. so that I will not meet the bail conditions. But whatever it is, if they say that if locking me up is going to give them any joy, then fine. Of course, if I go in there, I won't eat, I won't drink because I won't trust anything. I mean, I know how Adeola died and other things. I mean, but whatever it is, I would yeah. I'm not going to be broken. This won't break me. It just makes me stronger. And like I said, I'm glad that Nigerians are observing how I'm being persecuted. I mean, how things snowballed from sexual harassment to a fraudulent recall that failed. And when I was going to Kogi State, how a circular from the state government was up there preventing vehicular movements, convoys into Kogi, and water activities. But then I had to go in using the helicopter. So all of these intimidations are out there to the full glaring of the world. I won't be broken, but I hope to get justice at the end of the day.
Awesome. So I'm going to start taking some comments as well as questions. Please and please, guys, if you're watching and you're here to subscribe to my channel, help my market as well. See, I have done well for you guys. I brought your senator. Woo, father. Click the subscribe button. It is free. And the only reason I asked you to subscribe is just so you know when I upload a new video. That is why I asked you to subscribe. So if you are here to subscribe to my channel, you are enjoying me. So press the subscribe button, help our market. So this is from David, and he's saying that what's the relationship between your husband and the Senate president? And is there any hope for peace in the future? Now, while he's asking that, I want to add a quick question. going to, some people have been saying that why don't you take the offer of settling outside court, or just come to some kind of peace agreement? Would you be willing to do that? And if you should do that, what hope is there for regular Nigerian women that don't have any influence? So 3 questions in one, starting with David's question. Just
Okay.
make it quick.
David Sikpa, what's your relationship with your husband and the Senate president now? Any hope for peace in the future? I would say that the relationship pretty much is frayed. But again, I think the easiest part here, if we're going to talk about peace for the future, it's about honesty and accountability. Whichever party is wrong owes the other party that's offended an honest acknowledgement of the actions and seeking apology. Mind you, our situation is intertwined in the fact that there is a relationship between the families at first. And then there was a relationship between my husband and the Senate president way before he became a Senate president. There's also the work relationship of us being colleagues. So on different levels, it's me speaking up at first because the environment was very unconducive for me because of the activities of the Senate president. But then again, there is his friend who feels betrayed, or the bro code, whereby you don't cross my woman. So that's the other part of it. However they resolve it depends on them. But for me, the bigger picture of what I represent, this is beyond Natasha as an individual, as the many women running into millions who connect with me on this same story of being sexually harassed and deprived of chances of growth and opportunities to flourish, either in the corporate space, private business, whatever it is, or schools. Sexual harassment is real. And I think it's one of the most illicit social vice that people don't speak about because of our cultural norms, or because the moment a woman speaks about sexual harassment, she's already made to wear the garment of guilt and blame. I would want this. You've asked whether there's a chance for mediation.
Yeah, is there?
I haven't thought about that, not because I don't want peace, but the first thing I would want is, even if there's going to be a mediation, I would want a chance to present my evidence and to speak. I wouldn't want a mediation whereby don't speak, stay silent, just shake hands. No, I don't want that. And whatever it is, at the end of the day, there's still going to be the accountability whereby someone should be accountable for his actions. And if at the end of the day, I'm the one that is wrong, then I'll be accountable for my own actions too. Do you understand my point? But there has to be a place whereby one will tender her evidence and say, this is what I have been made to suffer. Okay. And I want Nigerians to know this. From as many people that have wondered at how antagonizing this whole thing has been, in just a short, in 84 days, there was a suspension, there was the recall that we survived. I'm aware that there is still plan for another recall. I'm aware of that too, that probably this whole scenario will make people lose trust in me and will say, okay, let's still recall her. But I'm grateful for the support I have in my constituents. They've been stronger than ever, praying for me, supporting me. And whatever it is, like I said, that will happen. I just don't want to be silenced totally. I would want to still have a chance to speak my truth. At the end of the day, there should be accountability before whether any mediation will happen.
Thank you for answering that. So real quick, a lot of people are really interested in this hearing on Tuesday, the 3rd. People are asking, where is the court sitting? Because I guess some people want to come. Also, someone is asking, Adeboye Balogun, is it possible to bring in foreign observers, journalists, and human rights bodies internationally? Is it also open to the public? Can people come? And Lolo Lady Million is also saying, please let us all assemble at the court on the 3rd to support. She wrote President Natasha, by the way.
I beg
So
you.
if if anybody is trying to show up in court on that day, is it open to the public? Where is it taking
Yes,
place?
I've just sent you the notice of hearing. Actually, maybe you can put it up, the form 2, which is...
Okay. So people can come.
Yes, people can
Court.
come.
Okay.
People can come. It's there. I know it's 2 p.m. on the 3rd at the High Court of the FCT. Okay. I don't know which room in particular. Okay, High Court 8. It's there. Can you please put up what I've sent to you?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it up. So if you're interested in coming, please, this is where you should come if you want to be there live and direct. You can take a screenshot of this document right now if you want to come.
High Court 8, Maitama, Abuja.
It's happening in Maitama on Tuesday. The 3rd is Tuesday. Maitama, Abuja, 2 p.m. And feel free to come. It's the High Court number 8. High Court number 8 in Maitama, Abuja at 2 p.m. on Tuesday, the 3rd of June. So I'm going to take the next question real quick. A number of people, actually, not just this person, have been asking, do you have to appear physically? Can't you do this on Zoom? Let me see who else asked that question. This is Theodora Ismail. Can you not appear on a video call? I don't think you should appear in person. Please insist on a video appearance. Is this an option? I guess
it's not an option, unfortunately.
It's not.
Because if I don't appear, then I would be listed as a wanted person, and I think I could be charged as a fugitive or so. I have to be there in person.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to be there in person.
Okay. So
and I tend to attend as many hearings as possible. I would be there in person. So I think it's okay.
Okay, so guys, if you're interested in this court, if you live in Abuja, you want to be there, take a screenshot. I've left it on the screen for this long just so that you could take a screenshot. Real quick, someone is asking, what makes you so bold and fearless? A lot of Nigerian women especially would like to know.
I think, should I say part of it is how I was born, it's my nature. It's just how I was born. I'm very careful in choosing a particular task. So I usually apply the 20-80 rule, which is 80% of the time I think through, is this worth it? What I'm about to do, does it make sense? And do I have the tenacity and courage to wait through? So when I've thought that 80% of my time and energy, then the remaining 20 is execute. So once I start something, I just give it my all usually. And that was it. So it's what played out in politics, right from when I was in SDP in 2018, 2019, and then in 2023. It took a while for me to decide, Natasha, what you're about to go in against all odds. Will you give up or you will hold on to the end? And that was what I did. And the same thing with this. Before I spoke up, I sat with my husband and I told him, I was like, this is what I'm going to do. I think it's about time I speak up. And that's it. Even though there are times when I was a bit shaky, I'm human, you know. And I kind of pulse the situation. But at the end of the day, giving up on something that I think is worthy and good and honest, it's not part of it. Giving up isn't. Not like I'm going out there to fight or antagonize or destroy anyone, no, but I always like, give me a chance as a citizen to play my own part without intimidation and harassment. And I think we need to have more people, whether women or men, we need to have more people who are bold and fearless, because that's what Nigeria needs. More people who are bold and fearless to stand against the odds and the ills.
Thank you so much for addressing that. I'm rounding up. Did you tell us what we can do about Obina, who is still in detention?
Now, I do not know who his legal representatives are, but I did get a message the day he was picked up by one lady who says she was a lawyer. Of course, my number was out there, so I did receive a message that Obina has been picked up, and then he was being taken to the Imo command, police command. I think the only thing we need to do now, maybe I could ask my lawyers to check in on him to see what we could do, but I think we just need to create awareness. We need to let people know that Obina is being detained illegally, and I don't think there are any charges against him because he's not committed any offense other than speaking up of the role he was engaged by Sandra and the fact that he did mention number 3, which is the Senate President, as being a potential sponsor. Adeola, there's also an audio I sent to you. I think you probably forgot to play that audio between Frances and a particular gentleman named Peter that was sent to me. I did send to you where she mentioned that Sandra recorded, I had a conversation with the Senate President and she played the Senate President's voice to Frances to prove that the Senate President was really involved. I think I sent that. You probably forgot to play it.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to. It's very important. That audio is very important. Yeah. I've not seen it anywhere.
Okay, I will publish it like on its own. But I also wanted to just take just a couple of questions. Sorry, guys, if I didn't pick your question.
Because she also, in that, why that audio is important, that she also mentioned that there were chats between Sandra, Duru, and SAN Olisa Agbakoba, which she forwarded to Frances. That audio is very important, that there were chats, messages between, communication between Olisa Agbakoba and Sandra, and that the Senate President flew her from America to meet with him in London while he was in London.
That the Senate President flew Sandra Duru
from America, that she met with the Senate President in London. That is very important, and that's where they have the plan. And then that audio is very important. You need to find a way to release that audio. I know it's 22 minutes long, and it was a willing conversation between Frances and Peter Kalu, I think that's his name. Yeah, and that it's very important you put that audio out.
Okay, so real quick though, people are asking what's your message for average Nigerian. I feel like you touched on that when you talk about why you're brave. Someone was asking when your suspension will be over. We do not know for now. Someone also asked if your lawyers will go with you. Of course, her lawyers will go with her. But I'm going to end on, there are a number of questions like this. Is Nigeria worth all this stress? Some people want to know. This person is asking, Michael Ahungwa, would you give up on politics, or would you go ahead to run for governor? Of course, we need you in Nigerian politics. But just to summarize this, people want to know, after going through all this, are you still interested in politics? Is it worth it? Oh, by the way, shout out to everybody that gave me money. Some people donated money on YouTube as they are watching. BPB gave me £1, or is it €1? Red Bunny Classic gave me $2. I am very grateful. I do not take this for granted. Let me put it out there. Texas Craft gave me 300 naira, and Adekule Sanyaolu gave me 400 naira. Thank you. Shout out. Okay, are you going to give up on politics after all this, or what?
Okay, let me start with saying this. Fighting for Nigeria is worth it. That's the only country we have. And if you look at the wake of international politics now, where there's nationalization of policies, America is trying to make a stronger America for Americans. The same thing with France, Canada, UK. You see, they're changing their foreign policies to promote national interests. So there is no better time than to fight for Nigeria. I mean, Nigeria is such a great country. We're blessed with abundant resources. We've always heard Nigeria has abundant resources. We are rich to be poor and all of this rhetorics. But it's when we have courageous, competent, honest leaders that we'll be able to shape institutions which will in turn create a better socio-political and socio-economic space for a greater Nigeria. So what I'm doing, my efforts, me standing against the odds, standing against this persecution, standing against the institutions that are struggling to be better, I think this is just one pivotal act in the bigger narrative of making Nigeria better. And if we can have more people like me, I'm now on sexual harassment and against, all the other odds. We have somebody else doing something else in the agricultural sector, in the healthcare sector, and all. Holistically together, uniformly, we can shape in Nigeria to be better. But it takes people who are willing to sacrifice themselves. And then now brings us again, as I'm putting myself as a sacrificial lamb, what is my fate in politics? As at today, I always believe in the power of now. So I usually apply and live for the moment. I trust my tomorrow in God's hands. And if God gives me life, and by God's grace, my people, which of course, beyond Kogi Central, Kogi State, and Nigeria at large, still find usefulness in me, then I would still stay in. Because my intention, what I actually planned with my husband, of course, whatever I do, I'm sorry I have to mention him, because as a woman, it's very important that I consider the whole, the scope of a man's involvement in politics is different from a woman, right? So everything I do, I have to speak. So I had actually even told my husband that by 2027, my goal will be to identify 3 Nigerian women who I would support across party lines. Once they're competent, then I would put my support, whether they're in my party or any other party, but ensure that I provide adequate funding, adequate awareness, and support for them to win and emerge as political players, either in the National Assembly or in the State House of Assembly. That is what I said. It doesn't have to be in Kogi State. If I find someone competent in Kanu or in Abia State or in Edo State, I will support that woman. That was a pledge I put to myself because I found that was what was missing. You see, one thing about men, the reason why it's not enough to have a legislation passed for women. Like, I appreciate the role that women are playing now. I've seen before, while I was even in the Senate there, Senator Ireti, other women there, we've attended a number of events supported by even the embassies, that we should call for a greater participation of women, either through affirmative action, reserved seats and all. But it's not enough to have this legislation. Women need support. You see, in the National Assembly, you have men who support men, whether you call it godfathers or whatever. I don't believe in godfatherism. But men, it's easier for men to find another man wedging money and supporting him, either with campaign materials or in the course of things, or buying forms. We have senators whose forms were bought by other men, but women don't have this. So I told myself, I made the personal pledge that by 2027, and I still stand by it, whether I'm suspended till then or not, I will identify 3 women across Nigeria, irrespective whether I'm in my party or not, as long as I resonate with your ideals as an individual and the leader that you project to be, then I will support you. I will put money for you. I will help you get campaign materials. I will walk and campaign with you. I will create moments, go to your state and share my network of support with you to ensure that the woman wins. Because the moment I do this for 3 women who I pray will be emerge successful, and these 3 women also are tasked to create their own web of support. Before you know it, in the next 10, 20 years, this is long-term things, we would have more women supporting women in real time. Awesome. And that's what I think. For that alone, I think I would, like I say, if my people call on me or if Nigerians call on me, then I will support. I will continue staying in politics.
Okay, I'm just reading 2 comments real quick. First of all, this person says we should make sure that we appreciate your husband before we end this. So, Esa, in case you are watching, thank you so much for who you are. Nigerians appreciate you. Falola Okoyemi says that he's a rare man to find a man that will stand with his
I
wife
tell you.
at a time like this. And I just want him to know that we truly appreciate him. And the very last thing that I'm reading is from Osas. Thank you so much. And this person is saying, how will you celebrate your victory? At the last line, they're asking, when you win, how will you celebrate your victory? That is when we'll end this show today.
Do you know that first? Let's start with appreciating my husband, Alema. Thank you so much. You know, honestly, I don't even know how to appreciate him because I usually have a lot of gratitude in my heart, much more than what I say. And maybe that's why people look at me and think, oh, she's arrogant, or I'm not so expressive. I think that's the introversion part of me. People don't know I'm actually an introvert. So I think more and more of a thinker. I think I can think a million things and then just say thank you. Or I just have limited words of expressing myself. But my husband knows that I do appreciate him greatly. It's been a lot of attack on our marriage, on what we stand for, but it has only made us stronger, stronger, stronger. In short, he really won. This is the longest I've been away from him, traveling out. We always travel out together. We're Bonnie and Clyde. So this is our first time of me leaving him this long, and he understands why I had to go to the US to make some networks, and I also had some good meetings for Nigeria as well. I was going to make a post on that of the fantastic people I met in Trump's cabinet. Yes, Adeola. So I was able to make that, I know. So I was going to share those good deals and economic advantage for Nigeria, but beyond that, I think I would appreciate if Nigerian men can stand up to support their wives. Fathers can support their daughters. Brothers can support their sisters. In as much as we say we need more women in politics, we can't do it alone. This is an appeal to our Nigerian men. We're not trying to drag power with you. We just want you to accord us space because some women are true-born leaders and we need everyone's intellect to grow our country. So yeah, my husband, I think he needs to have his own masterclass on men supporting women. Okay. And then the other part is, what was the other question?
How would you celebrate your victory?
My victory. I don't know. I think, you know what? I'm actually still owing God a Thanksgiving for my victory. Like, I know that my husband's pastor in Asaba told me then during our child's dedication, he was like, after our victory, we'll have to come to the church to do a Thanksgiving. So I'm still owing Thanksgiving for that first, for even being a senator. I've not even done my Thanksgiving, but I think after this victory, I will just have a Thanksgiving ceremony and think of the lasting legacy I would want to do, like I said, at the end of it, is to make sure that there is legislation or policies in all the corporate institutions and even private institutions on sexual harassment. That is very important because I have looked around, like the way you have it in British Airways, the way you have in the banks in the United Kingdom, and many other organizations. We don't have that in Nigeria. Sexual harassment is very silent, and we need to make it more pronounced, not because we're trying to witch hunt the men, but even men too can be sexually harassed by women bosses. Men too can be sexually harassed. It's a two-way thing. So it's not just for women. It's safeguarding the men as well as safeguarding women. But we all know that women are more vulnerable. Right from our universities to work to the National Assembly to various public and private spaces, even to individual women. Like I tell you, there's so much that happened. I don't know if you saw a report. A lady made an article a few days ago that she was forced to resign from NNPC when she was sexually harassed before the age of 40. I don't know if you saw that. Do you have like a minute, please?
Okay.
So it just shows you that people
thank you
say
so
this,
much.
but it just, yeah.
Thank you so much. I just want to say real quick that Kickoff Time wants us to let you know that he or she loves you and that he's going to fast and pray for you.
Thank you so much.
Also, I should say that as soon as I thank the people that donated money for me on my channel, a number of people also donated money. Bumi gave me $4.99. I am very, very grateful.
Thank you, Bumi.
Gave me $2. Henry gave me $5. AB Thompson gave me $20. Thank you so much. I said today I made money because I'm interviewing the senator. Thank you so much. Red Bunny Classic gave me $5, and Cheeseoba gave me £5. I am very, very grateful to every single person that donated money. Johnson, thank you so much. Thank you, Faith Okafor, and thank you so much, Patty, and thank you so much, Iha Mauhiba. Omoye Kona, thank you so much. She gave me $20. And lastly, thank you so much, Favor, gave me $10. Thank you so much, Austin. Lastly, he's thanking me for all that I do for advocating for the truth.
Thank you so much. And lastly, Adeola,
Thank you.
please, at the end of this, if you can just put a call for Nigerians, we need all the civil society organizations to please write a statement or put a statement or two calling on the Nigerian police to release Obina. It's very important. Like he's just with Obina has been arrested.
So
I think 8 days now.
Should we tweet at the police?
We have
who
to
are
tweet.
Hashtag free Obina, please.
Free Obina. Apart from free Obina, there will actually maybe like Amnesty International, Nigerian Human Rights, and many organizations should actually write to the police asking them to release this man. He should be a witness.
Yes.
He should have been invited to tender his evidence and write a statement in support of what he mentioned on your show. But instead, he was arrested. I mean, and withheld, detained. He's not charged to court for nothing because pretty much there's nothing to be charged of. It's amazing what's going on. It's crazy. But again, like I said, here's not me condemning the entire police force. Here's not me condemning all the institutions. I do believe that we have a lot of good people there, but then we need to task them to be courageous, to do the right thing. Do you understand? So together we can all strengthen our institutions so they can be there.
So thank you so much, Senator, for coming on the show. It's been 2.5 hours. I can't believe we still have more than 8,000 people watching us on all the different platforms. Like I said earlier, if you're here to subscribe to my channel, I'm begging you, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's free. It's just for you to know when I upload a new video. And I just want to thank everybody that stayed with us for the last 2.5 hours. I truly appreciate you. I truly appreciate your patience. And thank you, Uncle Bellow. I see that he also donated $20 just now. Thank you so much. So thanks to everybody that watched all the way from beginning to the end. And we will be cutting some of because it's 2.5 hours long, so we will cut this upload individual parts. The Reno part we will upload by itself because some people are still asking in the comment section. The Professor Ngbeke's part we will cut and upload by itself and all that. So I think this will put an end to all the drama that has been going on. And we will look forward to seeing your tweet about landing safely in Nigeria, getting to your home safely or getting to court safely. We'll be following this. We'll be monitoring, following you bumper to bumper. Please keep us posted. Don't leave us worried. We will be checking your social media platforms to know if you have arrived safely. And of course, we'll be following what happens on Tuesday in court. Once again, thank you so much for coming on the show. And thanks to everybody that watched this. All right, y'all.
Just say thank you to Nigerians. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your support. Those of you who can meet me in court, please turn up in your numbers. But let's be peaceful and calm and trust that the right things will be done. I still remain your Senator, Natasha.
Come one, come all on Tuesday. If you can show up, that would be wonderful. But like she said, please don't disrupt anything. We are trusting that the law will take its rightful place.
Yes.
So
thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, every single one of you. All right, y'all, it's been real, and I'm keeping you up in here. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. If you're to subscribe to my channel, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Until next time, I'm gonna see y'all later. Peace out. Bye.
Bye, Adeola.